Hey, 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 hey. This is AunTeaFee about them facts. Facts. Yeah, I'm out of town. Facts. I just ordered me some breakfast because I didn't want to go down there and sit because I hear Chief Davis is talk to some news people. So I want to listen. I want us to listen together while I have a break. Hey, y'all see me in there? My shadow? Ooh, child. Yes, indeed. I had to get away. Too much was going on. If I would have known that, I'd have waited to shampoo my hair before I got here. Peppermint shampoo, body wash, sage. Oh, yeah.
Live at 9, Mayor Jim Strickland and Police Chief
Let's listen.
C.J. Davis. Thank you both for being here this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning.
Obviously, we've heard the words heinous, deplorable, savage. Chief Davis, let's begin with you. What should we be prepared for when this video is released this evening?
Well, I have to be honest. The morning that I went into the office, that Sunday morning after this incident occurred, I wasn't prepared for what I saw.
Oh, wow.
I knew that there was a traffic stop that, in my mind, the initial information about it gave me concern and question, and especially since a traffic stop resulted in a young man being in the hospital. So going into the office that morning to review what footage we could.
Now that means that this is going to be ridiculously insane when we see this. Oh, wow. Let's keep listening.
The office that Sunday morning after this incident occurred, I wasn't prepared for what I saw. I knew that there was a traffic stop that, in my mind, the initial information about it gave me concern and question, and especially since a traffic stop resulted in a young man being in the hospital. So going into the office that morning to review what footage we could find, I was horrified. I was hurt and, angered at what I saw. In my 36 years in law enforcement, I don't think I've witnessed
So she was angry, y'all.
the disregard for a human being the way it was displayed in this particular video.
How would you compare that video to, obviously many of us have seen over the decades, the Rodney King beating?
The biggest comparison to that incident would have been sort of the groupthink mentality that, no one decided to step outside of what was occurring at the time and say, stop. And that's what it reminded me of.
And as we all prepare to see that video, I want to ask about the delay in releasing the video and the choice to release it on a Friday night at 6:30 ahead of the weekend. A lot of people asking about the delay. The family saw the video on Monday. The charges were released yesterday. Here we are going to be going on 24 hours. What went into deciding that time and day?
Well, in anything that we do as it relates to public safety, that's what we're not just thinking about, the fact that everybody does want to see the video.
Right.
We want to get it out to the public as soon as possible. But at the same time, we had to think about all of the other individuals that would be impacted, schools, businesses, people, going to and from that could potentially be intercepted or disrupted because, of potential protests. So Friday, we were comfortable that schools would be out, businesses, could make a decision about whether or not they would stay open. We have not received significant information about protests. I've spoken to some local individuals, but as a precaution, we want to make sure that the public is safe.
So, Mayor, we'll definitely want to bring you in regarding that same subject.
Y'all, that means it's really, really, really bad.
Well, release it earlier. Let maybe when cooler heads prevailed during the daytime, as opposed to a Friday evening when people could be headed to a bar or whatever. What do you say to that?
Well, I actually looked at over the last couple years in cities when they released video, and I saw no correlation between the length of protest or whether protests got violence in the day or time the video was released. There are so many other factors, so I don't think that's a factor, and I trust Chief Davis and her team and her partner, the law enforcement partner, and they determined this was the best. When children would be home, people would be home from work.
Have you been in touch with Governor Bill Lee and our additional troops, being moved into the Memphis area?
If needed, the Highway Patrol and the National Guard will be here. And I have spoken to Governor Lee a couple times and his team many times.
Chief Davis, talk to us, though, also about the Scorpion unit. A lot of people would say that.
Y'all hear that? The National Guard. They expecting for it to get. It's wow. I'm already afraid to watch it. Can y'all believe this? Oh my God.
Decision about whether or not they would stay open. We have not received significant information about protests. I've spoken to some local individuals, but as a precaution, we want to make sure that the public is safe.
So, Mayor, we'll definitely want to bring you in regarding that same subject. The video being released sometime after 6 p.m. The right thing to do, because some people would say, well, release it earlier. Let maybe when cooler heads prevailed during the daytime, as opposed to a Friday evening when people could be headed to a bar or whatever. What do you say to that?
Well, I actually
Ain't no
looked at,
cooler head.
over the last couple years in cities when they released video, and I saw no correlation between the length of protest or whether protests got violence in the day or time the video was released. There are so many other factors, so I don't think that's a factor, and I trust Chief Davis and her team and her partner, the law enforcement partner, and they determined this was the best. When children would be home, people would be home from work.
Have you been in touch with Governor Bill Lee and our additional troops, being moved into the Memphis area?
If needed, the Highway Patrol and the National Guard will be here. And I have spoken to Governor Lee a couple times and his team many times.
Chief Davis, talk to us, though, also about the Scorpion unit. A lot of people would say this is, to a certain degree, your creation, your baby, to a certain degree. Did it get out of control? What happened?
Absolutely.
Officers, many of whom are younger, were they qualified to be there?
So, the Scorpion unit was created out of an outcry from some of our communities that have been experiencing violent crime. We've had 3 really tough years, some of them prior to my coming, but 2021 was a record-breaking year for homicide.
She did that after ADOLPH was killed. Let's be clear.
And gun violence in the city.
There are so many other factors, so
From some of our communities that have been experiencing violent crime. We've had 3 really tough years, some of them prior to my coming, but 2021 was a record-breaking year for homicides and gun violence in the city. Much of the work that these officers are doing is no different than routine policing. This is just an opportunity for us to bring units together so that they can saturate some of the communities that were experiencing most of the gun violence. Their responsibility is to look for repeat violent offenders, to help identify them, including individuals that have warrants on them, to try to suppress some of the gun violence, gang violence, gun violence, and so on. So to create 3 teams, which we did, we had 3 teams of 10, 30 plus, supervisors, close to 40 individuals that were specifically developed and designed to saturate and really not just deal with violent crime, but the acronyms for Scorpion is Street Crimes Operations to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. The neighborhood outcry was where the Scorpion unit came from. Specialized in...
Now you know she knows Scorpion ain't known for none of what she's saying. Scorpions is known for stinging you, tagging you, hurting you. Let's go.
Gun violence. Their responsibility is to look for repeat violent offenders to help identify them, including individuals that have warrants on them, to try to suppress some of the gun violence, gang violence, gun violence, and so on. So to create 3 teams, which we did, we have 3 teams of 10, 30 plus, supervisors, close to 40 individuals that were specifically developed and designed to saturate and really not just deal with violent crime, but the acronyms for Scorpion is Street Crimes Operations to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. The neighborhood outcry was where the Scorpion unit came from. Specialized in basically what they were doing on patrol. Traffic stops don't require any extra kind of training. Even though these officers have training for high risk traffic stops, we've trained them for that. They have de-escalation training. They have impartial policing training. They have a myriad of training. I'm a big training person, but nothing about what this group was assigned to do is specialized like a TAC team doing entries and all kinds of other sophisticated work.
And some would argue that perhaps the Scorpion unit really has success, because we did see some of the crime numbers go down, especially around the beginning of the year. But of course, we're hearing from, Attorney Ben Crump, you heard the quote there, that in some cases in other cities around the country, he's under the impression they can terrorize minority communities. Mayor, what do you say to that?
Well, I certainly respect his opinion, and this is why I'm glad Chief Davis said we're going to hire an outside entity, not an internal, outside entity, to do a thorough review of these specialized units from every angle. Because obviously these men violated policy, violated their training, the extra training they got, violated state criminal law. But is there anything that we can do differently? Because we have to do everything we can so this never happens again. So she's in the midst right now, and I'm very supportive of hiring this outside entity to do this thorough review.
Chief, is it time to dismantle the Scorpion unit?
I think right now I really believe it would be premature. We saw great success from officers that did good work without, incidents like this. These officers went off the rail. They were beyond the scope of what we've seen out of our Scorpion unit. Our officers have taken...
What happened, in my opinion, is they figured out a way to hustle the system. They got paid on both ends. This is what I be trying to tell people all the time. You're always trying to figure out a way to get over, to do what you want to do, irregardless to guidelines. And now your ass is in jail, finna be with the same criminals that you put in there because you decided to hustle your job and hustle the streets and get caught up in it in too deep, and you kill somebody. But I hope they tell you that they had a run-in with this man before this was the second run-in. I heard somebody from Memphis gives somebody some information that they had never had no problem. He had never had no problem with the police. That's a lie. They already said on the news that this was his second run-in with this Scorpion unit 2 days before. So sorry, ma'am. Let's go.
Mayor, what do you say to that?
Well, I certainly respect his opinion, and this is why I'm glad Chief Davis said, we're going to hire an outside entity, not an internal, outside
I always trying to go against what I
do a
said.
thorough review of these specialized units from every angle. Because obviously these men violated policy, violated their training, the extra training they got, violated state criminal law. But is there anything that we can do differently? Because we have to do everything we can so this never happens again. So she's in the midst right now, and I'm very supportive of hiring this outside entity to do this thorough review.
Chief, is it time to dismantle the Scorpion unit?
You know, I think right now, I really believe it would be premature. We saw great success from officers that did good work without, incidents like this. These officers went off the rail. They were beyond the scope of what we've seen out of our Scorpion unit. Our officers have taken this particular group of individuals, this 30, 40 group of individuals, they've taken over 800 guns off the street in 1 year. They've arrested felons. I'm not talking about misdemeanor charges like this particular incident. They've arrested over 2,000 felons in the last year. And we've seen a change. We've seen some reduction in violent crime and in our homicides. And we celebrate that, but on the heels of this, that's clouded right now. I'm not ready to say that our Scorpion employees are doing bad things, but we do want to do an assessment. The department has several specialized units, fugitive unit, auto theft task force.
Did y'all hear that?
Traffic units. We've seen a change. We've seen
Wow.
some reduction in violent crime and in our homicides. And we celebrate that, but on the heels of this, that's clouded right now. I'm not ready to say that our Scorpion employees are doing bad things, but we do want to do an assessment. The department has several specialized units, fugitive unit, auto theft task force, traffic units. All of them operate very similar, but they have very focused responsibilities, very basic and fundamental, kinds of roles. It doesn't require specialized training to do a traffic stop.
But you would agree some police reform, though, is definitely needed.
Yes. Well, I believe police reform is needed all over the country. And as I said in an interview earlier, I have been intimately involved in police reform and recommendations for police reform. I went before the Senate on the heels of George Floyd. Some of the recommendations that were made came from me and my organization, Noble. Duty to intervene, national registries, no chokeholds, a number of those recommendations. I personally believe in police reform. I also believe that we have to look in our department to deal with other issues, whether it's culture issues that, sometimes take years to develop, whether it's supervisor gaps, which I know for a fact we do have supervisor gaps, and that's why we have an extended investigation going on. Where was, people who should have been there? Who was responsible for, providing some type of medical assistance? Who was responsible for notifications to ensure that a supervisor responded? So, yes.
And Chief, there was also questions about how quick the former officers were fired and also how quick they also got charges against them. Do you worry that the defense could use that and say there was arrest to judgment in this case?
Absolutely not. And really that's not a real concern because the administrative investigation was clear. When I witnessed that video, there were numerous policy violations that any chief should have moved quickly to terminate. Unfortunately, in law enforcement agencies, sometimes it takes months to terminate officers for egregious behavior. So what we did was work very closely with the city attorney and the administration, and the mayor knows that these officers needed to be terminated. They needed to be terminated quickly, and we wanted to demonstrate to the community that we're going to do the right thing. We won't have people on our roll that have committed heinous, crimes, or for that matter, crimes in general. You don't belong on the police department, and you don't belong in a uniform.
Mayor, we're also hearing that maybe some other officers could be under investigation, and we also heard that maybe some EMTs did not respond, obviously, properly as well. What do we do to kind of clean up that mess?
Well, this investigation, we have policies that firefighters and police officers are supposed to, a standard of care almost that you would hear like a doctor have. And the review right now, we put on the priority the 5 men who had physical altercation with Mr. Nickel. And then now we're focused on the many city employees who may have done something wrong or failed to do something right. And those are going to be dealt with relatively swiftly also.
And Chief Davis, the last word is yours. Is there anything that you want to tell the people of Memphis and now the world as they watch, as we prepare for this video tonight after 6 o'clock?
Well, as I said in my statement, I wanted to make sure that I was clear to the community that they could expect that this would raise the hair on their necks. This would certainly incite, anger and emotion. And because it did for me, any human being, I tell people all the time, the uniform is what we do. It's not who we are. We are human beings. We have family members. And, I think about any other person who has a child on the street who is encountering a police officer. A police officer is not the person that should cause you fear. And this is a cross that we all have to bear right now. Chiefs around the country have reached out to me. They have applauded our quick action because they know how difficult it is sometimes to move so swiftly. And it also sets a model, I believe, for police reform, that we shouldn't tolerate, the type of behavior of officers in uniform who should be trusted by the public. Because if we had a citizen that committed that same act, they would be in jail the same night.
True that. Now that I wholeheartedly agree. So I get this, at this point, all we can do is sit back and wait and see what it's gonna bring. Right? Hey, hey, hey. I can't wait to see this. I feel so sorry for his mama, his daddy, his family. I feel sorry for Memphis. I'm going to be honest. Memphis did not need this. Nobody needed it. But Memphis really didn't. Until next time.